Hi, 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 hi! Sugar cravings are what we're talking about today because, hey, I asked you guys last week to help me out and just tell me what your biggest pitfall is to eating healthy and sticking to it once and for all. And a whole boatload of you guys talked about sugar, whether you named certain sugar things like candy bars or certain drinks that you love or whatever the case may be. We also had the salty sweet stuff like the pizza and all of that stuff. I've talked about this before and I will talk about it again because it seems to be one of our number one pitfalls, okay? So I want to talk to you about what's really going on with these sugar cravings, some ways to stop them, and some ways to just really kick it in the butt. So are you excited about that? Are you dealing, sorry, I got the 4-year-old in here. Are you dealing with some issues with the cravings for sweets yourself? And maybe you're not a sweet person, but you're craving salt, and some of these things are really going to help you. So guys, this is my daughter. Say hello. I'm Erin Moore. I'm the founder of Success with More Nutrition. I'm also a network marketing professional, and I used to be plus size clothing down to a 2-4. Yep, she'll be here in just a little bit. She wants to play with her friend. She's down to a 2-4. You see those likes and loves going on the screen? I think those are for you, not for me. They're saying hi. You guys can type hi too. She loves it. She loves to be on the camera. Hi. Yeah, Cupcake Hi is a perfect conversation or starter for this conversation. So I'm going to chat with these guys now, okay? See those likes and hugs? All right, so hello, Audra. Hi, guys. So I am simulcasting. So if I'm not looking right at you, it's because over here is my profile page. Over here is my coaching page. So let's get to it, okay? Who's struggling with sugar cravings? Who time and time again wants to get healthy, but those darn cravings just creep in, and there you are, sneaking your hand into the, cookie jar, the candy jar, whatever the case may be, at the workplace or at home, and you just feel defeated before you even start sometimes. So here's the thing. It's going to be one of multiple, a few different key things is why you're having the cravings and such an issue and this kind of merry-go-round with it, okay? Raina says hi too. So what we've got going on is your sugar cravings could often be a side effect of other foods that you're eating. So I've talked about this before, where when we cave and we eat certain things that we're really not supposed to have, that actually creates a craving for more. And typically I talk about this in the case of when we eat sugar, it makes us crave more sugar. When we eat a pound of carbs, it makes us crave more carbs. But here's the thing, even if you eat something really salty, then your body actually, from what we're doing with our electrolytes and all that, I'm going to put you down in our sodium rates, then your body actually will crave more sugar as well. I guess that's not going to work, but at least I don't have to pick her up. So it's really going to be a side effect. And I'm going to talk to you about ways to kind of get through this and put this down, put this to bed and to rest. And the first and foremost thing that we need to do is understand where these sugar cravings are coming from and why they have us defeated so quickly and easily. Because I don't know about you, but I can feel downright defeated, and then I feel guilty, and then I'm like, well, I just can't win. I guess I just don't have enough willpower. I fail. I stink, whatever. And then we start to put ourselves down, and that's just not gonna work, right? So we've got to go into battle a little bit, and we need to know more about the enemy before we can go into battle, right? So it also could be easily a bad habit. So maybe you are or once were or know somebody who's a smoker and they've tried to quit, you've tried to quit, whatever the case may be. numerous times, just as many times as you've tried to lose the weight, they try to quit smoking. Well, here's the deal. Then talk about how it's a habitual thing. Like every time they get in the car, that was always the time that they'd have the cigarette. Or every time that they get home from work, they'd go out on the porch. Or every time this. Maybe you're an every time I'm at work and this meeting is complete, I always go to the vending machine. Or we always have donuts. Or we always have bagels. Whatever that case may be, maybe every time the kids are done with their lunch, we have this little bit of candy. It's just become a habit, right? So a bad habit, it's an auto response, a muscle response. Hey, baby, please stop playing with that right now. There's also what I talk about most is that most of the time it's a sugar withdrawal, which goes back to what I said for number one, which is actually being a side effect of food we're eating. So when we put sugar in, we actually skyrocket. Think of a roller coaster, okay? Think of the roller coaster and you skyrocket the sugars, but just as fast as the sugars go up, they increase your energy, they make you feel good for a minute, then they crash down. And when they crash down, you come to this plummeted area where your body's just like, wah, 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 need sugar, need carbs, need an uplift now. So then you're just on this horrible ride where you can't get off no matter how bad you want, because we've made those sugars plummet now. And then when you give in and you finally skyrocket those sugars again, they fall right back down. Great. So go on out right now, okay? Go on. Go on. Go. We're talking about candy and sugar, and now she's asking about candy and sugar, right? That's a thing too. It's an auto response. You hear somebody, you're not even thinking about it, and you're like, oh, I need it, right? So we've got this sugar withdrawal, but most importantly, it's usually because of a nutrient deficiency. Our body needs something nutritional. So when we're not giving it what it needs, our body kicks into this mode of craving. A mode to stop. Go on out now, okay? Hey. Go on out. Go. All right, so I'm going to have some troubles with the 4-year-old. Go on out so we can move your pin up, okay? Go on out. So when we are craving something nutritionally, we usually will feel it in this craving of the salty, sweet, junky food, because our body knows that response, just like I said, when we eat the sugar, it skyrockets up. Our body knows it will give it a quick fix, because now you've put it into this like alert mode where it needs a quick fix, okay? So you're going to crave those things. One of the best ways, and I'm going to give you some other ways too, but one of the best ways to overcome that one is making sure that you're eating good, healthy foods. Easier said than done, right? Continuously throughout the day, because then your body doesn't go into a nutritional craving. But we've got to get into that zone first where we can even do that, because you're like, well, Erin, I try to do that, and then by 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm dying and I cave for the candy bar, right? So we're going to talk about ways to get there. And then just be mindful that when we're trying to get things situated and straight, we are actually still probably consuming a lot of hidden sugars. Sugar is in everything, even if you don't think it's a sweet food. I mean, I can't tell you how much sugar is in like pizza. We think of pizza as the greasy, salty splurge, but it's a tremendous amount of sugar. Sugar's in everything, and I'm not saying all sugars are bad. And actually, if you're going through these sugar cravings, have some fruit, have some natural stuff. Choosing the right foods will lead you to choose the right foods. So you're like, well, how do we start this process, right? So going back up to the top, the side effects from certain foods, if you can start to get to know what those side effects, what those foods are, like the more saltier foods are going to cause cravings, the really not so good sugars are going to cause you more cravings, right? The having one type of macronutrient, but maybe not the other two. So those are protein, carbs, and fats, right? We need them all. And so we're only hitting one. We're going to fall into that nutrient or that nutritional deficiency where your body's just saying, please, Erin, please, Connie, please, Margot, put the good stuff in, right? So here's where a little bit of self-control, or what's the other word? What's the word when you're like, oh, well, I can't do it because I don't have this. My husband yelled, what? Willpower! He heard me. He saved the day. So a lot of people will say, well, I just don't have the willpower. You must have only been able to be successful and lose the 60 plus pounds with no exercise, by the way, because you have a tremendous amount of willpower. Margot had me covered too. There's a delay. You might have beat him. But so it's not that. But we might need to have a little bit. And this is really easy if you have a coach or a friend to kind of play this game with. I would say give it 3 days. But you've got to be solid for 3 days. If you can get through those sugar cravings, holy cow, and start putting nutritious food in. And guys, if you're just like, yeah, but I've tried and I know what to do, but it doesn't work, or I crave it, or whatever, like reach out. First and foremost, put 101 down below because I want you to have my free webinar. I want you to go through it and just learn how to actually have some things set up so that you don't fall into this trap. But also, if you really need some help, send me a message. Let's talk. Let's get you some coaching. Let's get you the tools that you need so you're not feeling like you're doing this alone. But so maybe you and a friend just powwow and you're like, for 3 days, we're going to make it through 3 days. And guys, don't worry about, oh, but I need to only eat this many calories and deprive myself, and then I'm also going to cut out all the junk. Just eat good, nutritious, whole food, maybe every 2 hours. Every 2 hours, whether you're hungry or not, and watch how you can make it through the 3 days. You're like, wow. It's one of the number one things that I hear from the people that I coach and the people that I work with is, I didn't believe you at all when you said I wasn't going to crave things, but I cannot believe it right off the bat. I'm not craving the fries. I'm not craving the cupcakes. I'm not craving the super sugary, coffee drinks. I'm like astounded. And then there's still those times where it's like, hey, I'm doing pretty good, but this one part of the day, right? Sometimes it's evening, mid-afternoon. I'm really just still getting that little bit of a craving, and we can usually look back at what you ate that day or even the night before, pinpoint it immediately, and by the next day we can already change that habit. So just being in tune with what am I eating and when am I having these cravings can start to help you, right? I can usually pinpoint it pretty quick, but we've got to eat and get out of the rhythm. Then once we can kick the sugar cravings, we're having it because of nutritional deficiencies, we're having it because of certain other foods that we're eating that are encouraging you to crave it. Almost all of these except for the bad habit, I named 4, right? 3 out of these 4 things are going to be able to be helped if you just give yourself a solid, I'm putting myself first, I'm winning this battle once and for all over these cravings, and then we get them out. Now, there will be those times that you go for a special event and some of you guys are going to get triggered. Some of you guys have a sugar addiction. These things need a little bit more work. It's something I work with people all the time on. They need a little bit more work. But when you go on the vacation, you go on this thing, you just come back to this, I'm going hardcore for 3 days to kind of work this out of my system. I'm going to have to exercise some willpower. I'm going to have to add some extra water to flush out the junk and the toxins out of my body. And I'm going to keep on point and make sure I have 3 days worth of wholesome food, right? Balanced food that take into account all 3 of those main nutrients, macronutrients. I just don't love to use it because it confuses people sometimes. It sounds scary. I'm not here to make things sound scary. I'm here to say that healthy can be simple, easy, magical, and it can actually turn into something you enjoy and that's fun. But we might have to have a little bit of discomfort in the first few days if you're constantly craving the junk and caving for the junk because it's quick, it's easy, it's convenient, it smells good. But I promise you, if you start doing this, somebody could bring in a whole thing of donuts or a whole thing of, for me, it's brownies. What is your like nemesis? What's that thing if they're brought in to put in front of you, you have a really hard time saying no? What is it for you? I really want you to put below, like, what is it for you? I want to see what they are, right? So what is the like thing you have the hardest willpower around? And I'm telling you, you can actually get to that point where those things are around and you look at it and you're like, I'm good. I don't need it. Like, I feel good. All right. Margot says donuts. You just get to that point where you're just, I feel good. I promise you it exists. If you haven't experienced that before, or you're like, I was there and I totally just got off, it just means you need a reset. You need a reset by going through and doing this, right? Choosing the right foods will help you choose the right foods. But we've got to get the habit, right? We've got to kick it out. We've got to flush it out. So then when it comes to the bad habit part, right? Where it's talking about, hey, like some people just bite their nails or pull or twist their hair or do whatever. Some people have a certain food they have around a certain point of time in the day. And I work with some of you guys who are just like, hey, I just always have a candy bar, or I always have a pop. I always have this coffee that's loaded with sugar. Raina says almond butter or popcorn. I always have that after my dinner. I always have this. There's certain things where it's just a habit. And so that's where habits don't just break because you decide today I'm breaking the habits. That's the decision that leads to all the mini occurrences that will happen. But it's no joke that it's 21 days and really some say 28 days to create a habit. So it's actually saying, I'm not going to have this XYZ at this time, and I'm replacing it with this. And here's the thing. If you have some serious sugar cravings, you just can't sit there and go, I'm going to eat chicken and broccoli and have healthy salads and never have fulfill the sugar craving. Either have fruit with a little bit of whipped cream. Have something that's less than what you would have had, and then just keep decreasing it. Maybe you need to make your own bars that are full of protein, that have, honey and peanut butter and all these amazing flavors that may not be the lowest calorie and the most healthy thing. But if you go to eating something that tastes like cardboard that says it has chocolate in it instead of a chocolate bar or a donut, it's not going to cut it. You're going to bite into it and you're like, yeah, I'm eating this instead of this. No, you got to find something that's actually like, this tastes pretty darn good. It's not a donut, but I can do this. And then you just keep choosing something that's a little bit better, a little bit less sweet, a little bit better. So don't think you need to change this habit overnight, okay? So really quick, so for the bad habits too, also maybe you start having like a sweeter, healthy tea or a coffee that might have less XYZ in it. It's all about just letting your body adjust and get used to. But if you're always putting the sugar in, you can't just decide today I'm not doing that anymore without the game plan of I'm going to have XYZ in place of it. And don't go from 0 to 60. Don't go from I eat a donut every morning till I'm going to eat this tofu bar mixed with nuts that's supposed to be good and it tastes gross. Like, your taste buds will change, first of all. I will for sure tell you that. I've been doing an experiment over the last 3 weeks, and it's amazing how my taste buds have changed. So let yourself adjust. Give yourself some grace, all right? But you've got to understand where the sugar craving's coming from, and it's because generally you're not actually giving your body, thanks for the likes and loves, Audra, you're not giving your body what it actually needs, so it's just going to continue to crave. You've got to get over the hump when you give it some good stuff, give your time self to adjust, overeat on the good things so that you can flush out the sugar cravings, and then you'll be off to the races. Then you can start putting some different plans in place. And again, you don't have my webinar where I teach you the insider look on how to actually get the healthy snacks and the healthy dinners readily available for you. Put 101 in the comments. Watch it. Take notes. I had one lady reach out the other day. I've watched it 3 times. Like, I just keep learning new stuff each time. It's free. Just put 101 down. It's not telling you how to eat. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Like, it teaches you, you've heard all the different things. This is actually teaching you how to implement all the things that you learn. And of course, I'm going to teach you some things on how to do it. But it's not, so I don't care what plan you're following, this is going to help you do it. This isn't here to talk you out of the plan that you're already doing. It's to show you how to implement the changes that you want to make, okay? So put 101 down, reach out personally if you really want to pick my brain. Hey, profile. Hello, Connie. Hello, Darcy. Hello. I have some watchers, but not some commenters. That's okay. It's scanning through. Kim, I'll get that over. Danielle, I'll get that over. Monica, Darcy, awesome. Hey, over here, guys. Margot, Audra, Kara, thank you. So have a wonderful day. Oh, I got more messages down here. It's not popping up. So, Raina, hello. All right. So let's get you hooked up with the goods that you need. Reach out to me if you have questions, because I know it can seem so incredibly lonely to want so badly to be healthier for yourself, to be healthier for your family. You want to feel good. You want to look good. Come on, it's summertime, and that is just the most common time for us to be the most self-conscious, because we can cover up with the least amount of things, right? So don't deprive yourself. Ask the questions if you have them. And, I hope you'll take these to heart and really start understanding your cravings so we can start to beat them. All right. I know another big issue for you guys is meal prepping. That was probably another huge one when I asked what are your issues. So we'll address that, but that's addressed hugely in the 101 as well. So have a beautiful, you're welcome, Danielle and Darcy. Have a beautiful and healthy day. Erin Moore signing off. And just remember, keep healthy simple. Let's keep it simple so it's not so daunting. Mwah! Bye, guys.